This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC on location, Manhattan Beach, California, bringing in my new fast friend, Hassan Shah, coming in from Lahore, Pakistan by way of the UK. We are going to talk connected fitness. We're going to talk sports and fitness. We are going to talk about being an entrepreneur in this day and age on a global scale. So Hassan, welcome to your first Halo Talks.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you reaching out to us and sharing your business plan and where you guys are going with the bikes and with the app. But first off, since I'm a big sports guy historically, and I still think I'm a weekend warrior, and I'm undrafted in the NFL, which I still think every year I might get drafted. Not. But talk about your FIFA and your soccer background and how you were brought up, and we'll riff from there.
Yeah, I think I did mention to David I was entered into a FIFA competition. Being a pretty avid gamer from a young age, I kind of entered this competition in 1999, I think it was. I got to the final, and some younger kid actually than myself, he beat me. But I met the Jeff Hurst, who's a very famous British footballer, scored a hat trick in a World Cup final. It was the only World Cup Britain had ever won. So he awarded me with a shirt and all that. But it was really cool. It was my first shot at, I'd say, the big league. And I think gaming back in those days isn't as serious as it was as it is now. But
sure,
it was an amazing experience. It was in a shopping center or a mall, as you call it. And it was in the kind of lots of people that were supporting it, and it was fun, and I think that was really my introduction to serious gaming at a young age.
As you take a look at the industry at large, there are people who have kind of tinkered around with gamification on, like, there used to be a bike called the Espresso bike out of San Diego and had some rudimentary tours that you could follow. Obviously you've got more sophisticated companies now that have developed where I can tour certain cities. We haven't really successfully got, gaming and, e-games infused into fitness. So kind of what did you see as some of the limitations or why it wasn't speaking to that demographic? And how did you then say, look, I'm not going to wait for somebody else to do this. I'm on the pulse, so I'm going to do it.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, I think I kind of took notice of Zwift a little bit soon after the rise and fall of Peloton, or the drop of Peloton even. So when we took our true inspiration from Peloton when they started. It was a big boost to us. We were selling a lot of fitness equipment at the time. I've sold over 20,000 treadmills and exercise bikes in a very short space of time. We saw Peloton's rise. I think their market cap hit something like $50 billion in 2021. We were well underway at that point. We'd already built like Peloton's app, but we knew we had to come up with something different. And we saw that shortage in the market, if you like, and we saw the rise of Zwift, a very kind of similar time, around about 2020, 21. And what we noticed with Zwift was there was a lot of drawback. I mean, they have something called like a kicker, which is like a stand where you remove the back wheel of your bicycle,
right.
You mount it onto the stand, and you start pedaling away. There's a whole setup required. You've got to put a screen on, and this is at the early stage. And what we found was a lot of professional cyclists were using apps similar to Zwift, and a lot of them started to shift over. So that was predominantly their main focus in the very early stage. And what you saw with that was there was no directional use. There was no fun. And being a gamer, like I said earlier, from young age, I mean, I've grown up with Mario Kart. And, then as games got more sophisticated, you're looking at games like Grand Theft Auto, and that's one of my all-time favorites, right? So you know what that's like. You're roaming a city. Mario Kart, you've got all these fun kind of modes whilst you're in game mode. You can slow down your opponents. You can fire at them and, boost through levels.
I was brought up more on like Atari Pong. So I wasn't really involved in any kind of community, except some dotted lines and some dots. But, maybe explain to people, look, I got a nephew, and once he's locked into Fortnite, like there's no conversation going on. He's locked in, right? But, talk about like the psychology of a gamer and somebody who's like really dedicated to that. And a lot of people looking at it from the outside might say, "Oh, that guy's just like lazy or something." No offense, right? But they, like the
No.
first thing they think is like, "Oh, this guy's like homeschooled and he play his gamer, and like we gotta, track him because something bad might happen. He's alone." But actually, he's actually part of a much broader
Yeah.
digital experience than people probably appreciate. So maybe give us a couple of
Well,
sound bites
I
about
tell you
that.
what. First of all, here's what's interesting about gaming. If you do a bit of Google searching, you'll find the stats. 57% of adults play on mobile games and gaming consoles in Britain,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd imagine the
Wow.
numbers either more or quite similar. So yeah, you get the problematic children who don't want to leave the house and they wee themselves playing 18 hours straight or whatever it
Right.
is. So this is the interesting part about the market. When it comes to gaming, the market is very broad. There's children, obviously those kids who can't get up off the couch. I mean, I've listened to some of your podcasts. I know you're all about getting out there into the open and exercising in gyms, and you're a massive advocate of that. But there is unfortunately a scary statistic of 1 in 2 children by the year 2026 will be obese,
Yeah.
right? So
It drives me
this is an
crazy.
alarming fact because these guys are not getting out the house. Whether you know you can try and force them out, but it's not going to happen. And I've got kids of my own. I know what it's like. Gaming is addictive. Fitness is not addictive. So this was one of the challenges, right? How do you target these kids who are struggling, even the adults who want to let some steam off after a hard day's work? How do we get them into fitness? Now, there's lots of solutions on there. I think I touched on Zwift earlier.
Yep.
The solutions in the market are too simple. And what we tried to do was we wanted to give our users, our gamers, our players, a total a gaming experience over the fitness. So, and the way we decided to do that was keep the levels very short and punchy. Have loads of additional things where you can hit other riders, slow them down, boost past them, collect coins. And one of the other interesting things we've kind of added into our game is the monetization, right? So you can collect coins, you can win races, you can collect coins and actually cash those coins out like a casino system when you earn enough coins. So these are all like very engaging elements. And I think if you're looking now at today's society at large, we are becoming obese. We are becoming more lazy. And this is another one of my driving factors. I mean, I personally, I battle with fitness. I'm not a complete gym freak. You can probably
Right.
see I'm not built like Arnie here, but I do struggle to motivate, and this is part of the whole reason why we got into this game development. And we think we're onto the concept which we've designed is the first ever open world game, and what that means is it is literally a Grand Theft Auto style open world game. You can roam around a city freely, hop off your bike, go shopping, get back on your bike, meet other users. As you get close, your audio's connected. You can
Mm.
add friends. This building a community, giving people, taking away from loneliness, even, and that
Yeah.
isolation,
Yeah.
and bringing
That's
them
one
in
of the things
with
we gotta.
fitness.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. For maybe for me, but also for my audience. What you're describing is what commercials of like what the metaverse is. So maybe you could
Yeah,
help explain to me because
yeah,
I'm being open that I don't fully appreciate what's going on or what's going about to happen in our audience. Are you creating like your own closed walled metaverse? Are you
yeah.
part of some larger metaverse? Do these things communicate with each other? Like, do you own the property value? These shops are going to come in and like pay rent to be on your metaverse. Give us like a 2 minute
So yeah,
soliloquy
when
on
it
that,
comes
if
to
you will.
first and foremost, the way we built the game, we built it on a Unity platform. We're looking to now upgrade it to the Unreal game engine. These platforms are effectively ready. I mean, when you build a game on this platform, it's pretty much ready to upload into the metaverse at the flick of a switch. The only reason we haven't pushed it on the metaverse currently is we're thinking about safety proofing the product. The last thing we want is someone with an Oculus headset and there's an accident on the bike, it's going to cause
Right.
problems. So we're not quite there yet in terms of the safety proofing of the product. The metaverse, yeah, look, the metaverse, the beauty of the metaverse, you need to think of the internet when you think of the metaverse. It's a web of lots of different areas, different websites, different search engines. And yes, they can be connected together. At the moment, our game does not connect. It doesn't mean to say in future it cannot connect to other worlds. It can't connect to maybe Minecraft or Roblox and things like
Right.
that. So
Are you
that's something
concerned?
we're
Are you concerned, somewhat in a joking way, but like you get involved in another metaverse and they say like no cycling, like like you're not ride a bicycle on one of their lanes or something. You're like,
well,
dude, it's
you
in a
know.
virtual world. Like, come on, give me a break. They're like, sir, we have rules.
I mean, I think, of course, the hardware has to be able to speak to the whoever's saying no cycling. I mean, if obviously they don't allow it, our metaverse won't be able to connect. So this is all about licensing and connecting with other businesses that have a strong presence in the metaverse. And of course, it's our long-term aim to actually get to that stage where we can stroll into other worlds. And you know what? If people don't want bikes in their world, good luck to them.
Yeah.
They can come and join our world. We'll
Yeah,
have
or
it
you and I can just
available.
make like the constitution of the metaverse that like bikes are allowed for Halo purposes, even if it's virtual.
Absolutely.
I'm up for making rules, and then we'll have people enforce them. So, question for you: so when you came out, you look at Zwift, you look at Peloton, you look at someone who's hardware agnostic. You look at the hardware, closed system that Peloton. Obviously, they just relinquished that by outsourcing everything. And it sounds like they're just going to try and get their app, as a ubiquitous subscription. We'll see how that goes. So kind of where did you like somewhat fit in as like, say, hey, here's like the void in the market. And when you say like cycling for all,
Yeah.
explain what that means.
Okay. So what we've done, you just to simplify, because I think I haven't explained exactly in a clear way what we actually do. We've mixed Peloton and Zwift 2-in-1 into one app. So you can alternate between the two, right? So if you want to go into live class mode, you're free to do that.
Okay.
If you want to go into game mode, you're free to do that. So that's one of the key factors here. Secondly, the live class mode, to save cost and make it accessible to everyone and allow trainers to prosper, we've done something called the Uberification of our live classes. Now, that means anyone, anywhere can register to become a trainer, right? And they can also monetize. So you yourself can buy one of these bikes, sit on there, set the parameters of your class, the day, the time, the amount of coins you want to charge, and anyone can join that class and you will earn money. So this is a great way, once again, of engaging and keeping costs low. The game is an open world game. Again, we're allowing monetization. Now, the key factor here is we literally want to give these bikes away, because this brings me on to the bigger part of the vision, which is data. We want data. And one of the clever things we're doing here is we're centralizing all your data, your smartwatch, your steps on your phone, if you have, let's say, a nutrition app, we'll take your data from there. If you have a sleep pattern app, we can take data from there, depending on which apps we've partnered with. Once we have all that data with your BMI and your online and offline activity, we can start giving you very interesting biological data about yourself, including things like the estimated time of death, similarly as to what insurance companies how they would quote you with your life insurance, right? And they'll give you a life expectancy and all the rest of it. So having all that data centralized, giving you a bike next to nothing and focusing on a subscription model, this is what differentiates us. Every bike in the market at the moment, it's $1,000 plus Echelon, $1,000 plus Peloton, almost $2,000. Where is the bike that is $200?
Yeah, I mean,
A
have you
quality
developed a
bike.
bike down to that cost basis?
Yeah, we have.
Really?
Our bike, I mean, I don't know if I should give you the production costs and all the rest of it, but
No,
we're
no,
giving
no,
a
no.
gym.
But just the fact that it's below
Yeah,
that price point,
yeah,
we don't need any more of the special sauce. We'll
sure.
have everybody sound like a virtual NBA.
Effectively, we are effectively taking the cost price of the bike, and we're solely focused on the subscription model. So we want to get as many of these bikes out into the market, right? So our entry price for this bike is around about $200 delivered.
And then that bike does not have a screen on it. You bring your own screen and Bluetooth into the bike.
The screen costs an additional $250, but yes, you can use any screen you like if you want to save the cost, right? And it even connects to your smart television, by the way.
And it's a stationary bike. You're not propping
It's
it up.
This is the
Correct.
thing, right? So with a lot of, it's a stationary bike. You don't need to buy another bike. It's
Right.
there. It's pulled out of a box. Stick the pedals on. Put the handlebars on. Download the app. You're good to
Got it.
go.
Got it. So there's been a lot of companies that are venture backed that have tried to give something away and to basically rely on the long tail of profitability, which makes a lot of sense. Obviously, if it's a
Yeah,
$2,000 bike, be out there looking for 10 times the amount of money, right?
exactly.
By giving that away. So the question is, one, how have investors, how has that resonated with investors that you've talked to? Or, when you say like, hey, $200, Peloton's spending X amount of dollars to sell a bike and they're just basically breaking even on that. If I can get this installed, would there be any, just thinking out loud for a second, would there be any negative penalties? Let's say you sent me the bike for free and I didn't use it. Like, could you charge my credit card for like basically putting it in storage in your apartment? Is there any like way to like create usage by saying, hey, I give you
That's a
this
good
bike, you better
question.
use it?
Well, look,
Yeah.
here's the thing. You're locked into a 24-month contract similar to
Oh, on
a
a
mobile
subscription.
phone
Okay,
contract.
got it.
Yeah. So the subscription gives you a 24-month lock-in.
Which
With
is
it,
how much?
you
How much is
it's
it?
around about $39.99.
All right, so
Yeah,
$40.
about 40
Okay, so you got a
bucks.
5 month
But
payback on the bike. Got it. Okay, keep
well,
going.
exactly. No, actually, the bike, there's an upfront cost which covers the cost of the bike, and then there's a subscription at $39.99, and the
You want
upfront
to
cost
give
is
the
around
bikes
about
away,
$200.
or you want to say like I'm basically giving the bike away because it's so low?
Well, actually, it's look, technically the bike is free itself. We're charging $150 for the actual contract fee, which is an initial contract sign up fee,
Okay.
and after that, it's a $50 per month. Sorry, $50 for the delivery of the bike. So that's $200. Technically, the bike is free and it's worth $1,000, right?
Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. So, how many bikes you have out there right now? How many bikes you have ready to be out there, and what do you
Zero.
need?
This
Oh,
is the
okay.
point, right? This is
Okay.
why I'm here, right, Pete? So we're trying to raise funds to launch our first 5,000, the batch, which hopefully will lead on to the sale of our first 40,000. But just to give you an idea, if we put something like 140,000 of these bikes into the market, that's about $168 million revenue if we locked 140,000 customers into a 24-month contract. That's a large amount of money considering people like Peloton have got 2.5 million active subscribers, right? So, or more now. I think that's a bit outdated, that data, but you see the potential there.
So
It's
it's going to cost you $1 million to get 5,000 bikes into the market. Plus, you're going to get
around
that
about.
recouped as part of the delivery and the setup fee. So basically, breaking even on that. You obviously need some money for marketing. What market? I know you've got a pie chart on different areas of the world that you're going after, but is there a deliberate, once you get the capital in here, you're going to try and pressurize some market that becomes almost like the test case cluster, or is it
I
like,
mean,
hey, you got pre-sales and I'm just going to send them out?
well, I'm from the UK. Look, I've already, like I said earlier, I've sold 20,000 treadmills and bikes in a very short space of time, which
Under
are
what
very
brand?
budget. But these are just budget range from China. I've repackaged, relabeled.
Under
It's just off
Xstream
the
or a
shelf.
different brand?
Yeah, under Xstream
Oh,
and
okay.
under a couple of different brands. There's eJogger, there's Xstream, there's a couple of other ones. So
Got it. Okay.
we've sold budget range bikes for around $200 without the tech, and we've sold 20,000 of them. So for us, I think the testing ground is the United Kingdom. We know the market very well. We know all the online marketplaces. We're familiar with. We have our connections there, but the holy grail, as you'll know, is America. That is the holy grail for I'd guess for most commerce businesses. I mean, once you get your products into America, I think if you can crack that market, that would be the big
Yeah,
step
sure.
after Britain.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, as you look at this, obviously the scalability and the growth opportunities are endless. And I want to ask you this question because I think a lot of entrepreneurs, and we see this with Peloton and we see this with other product companies where they say, I got a bike. Now I need a treadmill. Now I need an elliptical. Now I need a row. Now I need this.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, when you look at this opportunity, you seem very positively, narrowly focused on saying, like, if I get the bike in there, I expand everything through the bike. I don't need to become a hardware company and
Yeah.
become like a manufacturer. So could you just maybe give me like a public service announcement on, like, I'm an entrepreneur. I got some guardrails. I know where I'm going. And, like, there's no reason for me to, like, tinker with other stuff. I know what's in front of me.
The thing is, right, the bike, I don't know, the bike for me is like a t-shirt, and you without, you got to have the trousers, you got to accompany it with a treadmill at some point. So that's definitely on the cards. The rowing is really popular. And look, once you have the tech, once you have the application ready, working, functioning, the game mode is there. It's very easy to throw in the new products into the mix. So the three I think we're focused on is the rower, the tread, and the bike. But the bike should be the main focus for us. And I'll tell you one other thing which nobody else is thinking about. We want to do the miniature version of the bike, which is the kids version, which is for younger audiences, seven plus. They're out there on their tricycles at the age of 5, whatever.
Yeah, they're also the most technically savvy in the entire family, right? So
exactly, right.
They're like they're the Trojan horse into the rest of the crew. It's funny. So you got any, in closing here, you got any good business quotes or life quotes that you focus on? We're creating a little bit of a quote library. I'm sure you've seen a lot.
A quote library. I think my as my dad would say, I don't know if it's very businesslike, but he'd say, son, I've struggled all my life, but I've enjoyed every moment of it. Life is nothing without struggle. And that's always kind of stuck with me. And hopefully I'll pass that on to my children, and we persevere and we keep going, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll just be like in the metaverse in Xstream. There'll be a town called Struggle. And, like, we're all like riding to struggle, and then
the struggle level.
Then your dad will come out and be like, free food for all or something. Awesome. Yeah. Well, look, man, I love what you're doing. Once we get the podcast out there, we'll put some information up there if people are interested in investing or becoming a client directly, or buying a bike, or just kind of helping you on your journey here. It sounds like you're in the right place, right time. And I think a lot of it is like, how can it takes a gamer to do this. It doesn't take like a health club operator to figure out like how we're going to gamify it. It's a different mindset. So I'm glad you stumbled upon this in whatever reason, from back in the day, and now it's becoming a business. So awesome. Fantastic. Good work.
All right, buddy. Cheers.
Great, man. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you.